Hi, First Open Bible Youth. I just first wanted to say that I love you and I miss you and I cannot wait to see you. But in the meantime, until I get to see you again, I want to share this devotional with you. Today's devotional is on rest and solitude. And when I think of rest and solitude, I think of the beach. So that's why you're seeing a beach here behind me. So I thought I would put on a sun hat today and take you to the beach with me today and share with you what God has shared with me. So today, like I said, is on rest and solitude. And so I looked up the definition of solitude. And solitude is a state or situation of being alone. It's isolation or seclusion. And there's benefits of solitude. Solitude enhances creativity. Solitude frees the mind up from all distractions of everyday life and allows it to focus more fully on one thing. It allows your brain to think outside the box and to come up with unique, extraordinary solutions to ordinary problems. Solitude carries the sense that you enjoy being alone by choice. Solitude is different than loneliness. Solitude is not loneliness. Solitude or loneliness is a negative state marked by a sense of isolation. One feels like something is missing. Solitude is a state of being alone without being lonely. Other benefits of solitude is that it improves psychological well-being, could help you to become mentally stronger, and studies have found that people who set time aside to be alone tend to be happier, and they report better life satisfaction and lower levels of stress. However, the world that we live in is a very fast-paced world, and it's filled with chatter. Our rhythm in this world is to plan it, do it, post it, and talk about it. However, Jesus knew of a very different rhythm that drove his routines. Jesus' rhythm was God's rhythm, and God's rhythm was purposeful work and holy rest. Jesus healed many crowds of people, and then he withdrew to desolate places to spend time alone with the Father. As it states in Luke chapter 5, verses 15 and 16, Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. And in Mark chapter 6, verses 45 to 52, it talks about how Jesus sent his disciples out on the boat alone, out into the lake. And then Jesus went alone to spend time alone with the Father. And he was there until like 3 o'clock in the morning. It says to the fourth watch of the night. Then he came out and walked on water. So Jesus prayed all night long before he went to go visit the disciples and see them out on the water. And then he walked on water on top of all that. So Jesus spent many nights alone with the Father, just praying and spending time with the Father. Jesus shows us what holy rest is. Holy rest is more than the absence of work. Holy rest is intentional, it's God-centered, and delights us in the Lord. We feel most refreshed in God's presence. And we crave rest. We just don't realize that the rest that we're craving is the Sabbath rest. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 8, it challenges us to keep the Sabbath holy. To make something holy means to dedicate it to God. To keep the Sabbath holy, we need to think about what draws us close to God and then make plans to do those things. God and Jesus rested intentionally. As it states in Genesis chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, God rested on the seventh day, which was the Sabbath day, because he was finished with his work and not because he was tired. Jesus finished his work and then withdrew to the wilderness for one-on-one time with his Father, as it states in Luke chapter 5, verses 15 and 16. But we don't rest intentionally. However, we treat rest like it's admitting defeat. But the truth is that rest was designed for our delight. So think about preparing for rest like you're preparing for a date. Enjoy the same intent. Give it the same intentionality and priority in your week. When you get alone with God and spend time enjoying his presence, we are energized in ways we didn't know were possible. As it states in Exodus chapter 58, verses 13 and 14, it challenges us. It says to keep the Sabbath day holy. Don't pursue your own interests on that day, but enjoy the Sabbath and speak of it with delight as the Lord's holy day. Honor the Sabbath in everything you do on that day, and don't follow your own desires or talk idly. So I want to leave you with some questions to think about. First of all, where do you feel closest to God? Secondly, where are places or activities that leave you in awe of God? For me, I would say it'd probably be the beach. From 1 to 10, how much time do you currently prioritize one-on-one time with God? And finally, what, if anything, might need to change in your week so your weekly rhythm looks more like Jesus's? So this is a challenge for all of us. We all need to take a look at our schedules and just kind of see where we're spending time with the Lord, and if we're just kind of like spending time on our phones or spending time watching movies, or what we're doing with this time of isolation and solitude. So this is a good challenge for all of us to be intentional about taking our Sabbath and spending time alone with Jesus and with the Father. Until I get to see you again, I love you and miss you, and I hope to see you very soon. All right, goodbye.